Have you ever met a dog you haven't fallen in love with? They're easygoing, laid back, and cute as buttons. Dog owners, or parents more like it, are always trying their utmost to give their four-legged companions the best there is. Whether it's the best vet in town, the best groomer, or the best dog food money can buy, dog moms and dog dads want their pets to live comfortably. However, sometimes even the most well-meaning dog owner can slip up. Oftentimes, it's with regard to something they had no idea would be bad for their pet. We're looking at 15 things you should stop doing to your pet. From yanking on leashes to putting ice in the water bowl and dressing them up, here are some things you need to skip doing with or to your dog. Number 15. Yanking on leashes. You can't expect two dogs to be similar in every aspect. One might be open for hugs and kisses, and another might be apprehensive of strangers. In that regard, it's unfair to say that you shouldn't leash your dog at all. Some need to be leashed for either their own or for everyone else's safety. But one thing you should never do is yank on their leashes, especially not with retractable leashes. Your dog's hyoid bone is located close to the base of their skull. When you yank on their leashes, you're pulling it up towards their hyoid bone. Repeated yanking yields the bone enough to make it susceptible to fracture. This can lead to a multitude of problems. Experts have said that retractable leashes are choke collars as being comparable to incomplete hanging. Number 14. Don't use human products on your pet. It goes without saying, never use products you would use on yourself for your furry four-legged friend. There are a few products that are pretty obvious not to use: shampoos, hair grooming kits, and food. But then there are some that aren't that obvious: toothpastes and sunscreens. Experts say you should help your dogs brush their teeth every night, but never use human toothpaste. Why? Because it contains ingredients that would be harmful if the pet swallows them. Sunscreen contains zinc oxide, a harmful toxin when ingested by dogs. The toxin causes blood vomiting and bloody diarrhea. If you have to use products for your dog, make sure it's perfectly curated for them. Number 13. Never leave them alone in a car. You might think that this one's a given, but there have been several instances wherein an otherwise cautious dog parent has left their pet in the car while they ran to finish an errand. The dog owner might have thought, "I'll only be a minute," but it rarely ever takes that long. Your vehicle can become a greenhouse really quickly and temperatures will rise. That minute you thought it would take was all that was necessary to suffocate your pet. Alternatively, even if you let the windows down, it's unfair to leave your pet in a vehicle alone for that long. Number 12. Unwarranted hugs. Have you ever met a dog you didn't want to pet? They're cute and cuddly, it's hard to resist hugging them, but you shouldn't hug them just because you want to. Not all dogs are going to bark at you when you hug them. Some become uncomfortable. Here are a few telltale signs: the dog looks away, yawns, and stiffens up. Don't assume that a dog wants to be hugged because they aren't visibly upset about it. Number 11. Don't let them chomp on ice. It's common practice to put ice in your dog's water bowl when the weather gets particularly warm. The dog owner might be well-meaning. It's warm and you want to keep your water chilled for them. However, dogs chomp on ice and they tend to chomp aggressively. What does this do? It leads to broken teeth, bruised lips, and they might choke on the ice. There are a multitude of reasons to not let your dog chomp on ice. Number 10. Don't feed them more than their RDI. Never feed your pet more than their recommended daily intake, or RDI. It's hard to resist those beautiful big puppy eyes, but you need to be a responsible pet owner. Your pet is a lot more than just an adorable thing to cuddle with. It's a living thing that requires the right amount of love and care. Don't feed your pet any table scraps. They'll get accustomed to eating scraps that aren't healthy for them. Your dog's diet is just as important as yours. Number 9. Use positive reinforcement. Your pet has a hard time at the vet. Which pet doesn't? A pet that's easy to see the vet is like a needle in a haystack. It's normal for your dog to be terrified or apprehensive of the vet or the groomer. Don't punish them for their natural response. Instead, positively reinforce them to feel rewarded instead of punished. Remember, the key to having a companion isn't to subdue them into submission, but to love them enough to feel safe and comfortable. Number 8, do not let your pet sit idle. There's a difference between resting and sitting idle. If you allow your pet to get accustomed to sitting idle for longer periods of time, your four-legged friend will lose all motivation to move about. Engage your pet in regular activity, take them out for walks, play with them, and keep them energized. When it's time to take a break, give your pet enough time to re-energize before engaging them in another activity. Number 7, always secure your dog in the car. You might think it's unfair to buckle your little friend in the back seat of the car, especially considering how much they would rather have their head sticking out the window. A pet is a lot like a toddler. They rely on you to make decisions for them because, had it been up to them, they'd turn the world into one large playpen. Buckling up your pet in the back seat of the car will stabilize them and protect them from any unforeseen breaks and accidents. Protect your pet. You're the only one they're counting on. Number 6, don't make them feel like their crate is an unsafe place. Contrary to what most people believe, having your pet on a leash or in a crate isn't a punishment. It's only one if you make it out to be. If you constantly punish your dog by keeping it in its crate, it's going to associate it with punishment, even when you're just trying to carry your companion around. Your pet looks up to you lovingly. Do not make it feel like everything you do for it is a punishment. Number 5, restricting your dog from sniffing and exploring. Your dog probably gets excited every time you bring out its leash and grab your trainers. Dogs adore walks. It's quality time they get to spend outdoors with you. Plus, it's a great way to keep your dog healthy. One thing you should never do is restrict your pet from exploring and sniffing about while you two are on your walk. Let them enjoy the walk as much as you do. It'll only get them more eager to go on to the next one. Number 4, don't dress your dog unless it's to keep them warm. Your dog probably doesn't care much for that sweater you've got. However, the sweater is necessary to keep your pet warm during the winter. On the other hand, getting your pet an over-the-top outfit and forcing them to wear it for pictures is inhumane. The outfit is rarely comfortable and your pet probably feels suffocated in it. Don't force your dog to wear something you can tell it's uncomfortable in. Number 3, avoid using strong fragrances. Your dog has a heightened sense of smell, that's a given, but sometimes we tend to use fragrances on our pets unbeknownst to us. That can inflame their nostrils and lead to serious complications. As a general rule, avoid spraying your pet with anything, and if you need to use a medical spray, avoid the pet's face. Number 2, do not chain your dog for long periods of time. If there's one thing you should never do to your pet, not just a dog, but any pet at all, it's to make them feel like they don't have a place in your home. Some dogs are outside dogs and some are inside ones, but your pet needs to feel like it belongs in your household. Do not chain your dog for long periods of time. It only makes them feel isolated, anxious, and depressed. A happy pet is one that feels safe and secure with the people who own it. Number 1, be assertive where you need to be. Avoid being overly lenient with your pet or confusing them with affection. If you hug and cuddle your pet after it makes a mess, your pet won't be able to associate the act with something wrong. The only way your dog can know for sure what's wrong and what's right is when you react appropriately to a situation. Be assertive, but don't be mean. Likewise, be affectionate, but don't be too affectionate when your pet's made a mistake. All right, out of these 15 things, which ones did you know about and which ones did you just come to find out about? Let us know in the comments section below, and don't forget to like the video, subscribe to InfoLab, and hit the bell icon for more. We'll see you in the next one.